James is a journalist who loves solving difficult crimes. He heard on the news about a mysterious disappearance of pets all over town, so he decided to investigate for himself. He started by visiting a park where most pets have disappeared over the past week. By looking at the image, can you tell who's responsible for the disappearances? The old lady looks pretty innocent, and that young couple is too busy arguing. But the guy sitting on the bench has a dog collar hidden in his pocket, but no dog. He's the culprit. The following week, he heard rumors about a small supermarket that was selling expired products to their client. So he went to investigate it more closely. He examined the cookies, the soft drinks, and the bottles of milk. Can you figure out if the market is really committing a crime here? Take a look at the milk. The expired milk is hiding behind the regular milk. It's more yellow than the new ones. Guess they imagined people would buy it sooner or later. One of James' friends invited him to go to a festival to investigate a serious case. They were serving expensive dishes with absurdly low-quality ingredients. They tasted the food of a few stalls before they could identify which chef was sabotaging the food. Can you tell? The stalls look fine, but the last chef is suspicious. On the back of his stall, you can see the amount of flies flying over his ingredients. They are poorly conserved, out of the fridge, and probably gone sour by now. Ew. An important art gallery premiered a new show filled with expensive paintings of a new artist. Only regulars came to check it out, but by the end of the night, one of the paintings had disappeared. Can you help James check the security tapes and figure out who did it? These three elderly men look suspicious. One of them is wearing a hat indoors, which is weird but stylish. The second is wearing sunglasses at night. But the third one, with a stooped back, well, no one's back is that rectangular. He must have hid the painting under his coat behind his back. A horrible crime happened in James' neighborhood, and a person was severely hurt. James went over to check the crime scene. There were 3 women in the house. One was cleaning, one was investigating, and one was taking photos. Can you guess who's guilty here? Check the details. The one who was cleaning had a stained cloth with a red stain on it that looks like blood, but it's just the paint from the wall that came off a bit. While the one taking the photos has a shiny object in her bag. If you look closely, it's a sharp knife that matches the object used in the crime. One night, James decided to go out for dinner when he ran into one of his exes, Maria. He noticed she was out on a date with another guy, but was hurt because they had broken up just a few weeks ago. Take a good look at the picture. Can you help James figure out which guy Maria is on a date with? From the 2 guys standing on the bar's counter, Maria's date is the guy on the left. He's holding a gift in his hand, and if you look closely, the tag says, "From Pete to Maria." So he's the one. James was getting so good at solving mysteries that a game show host invited him to be on the lookout for potential saboteurs of the show. One night, 3 contestants were invited to pick up a bar of gold from a bowl filled with piranhas. James noticed that one of the contestants was cheating. Can you figure out which one? It's the guy in the middle. He switched the fish from his bowl. If you look closely, they're more golden than the other ones. That's because it's another species, not as dangerous as piranhas. Faye just came back from living abroad, and she invited James to her welcome back party. During the night, the lights went out, the music stopped, and someone screamed they were being robbed. James spent the rest of the night looking at the security footage to identify the robber. Can you help him figure out who it was? It was the girl dancing on the left corner. Take a close look at her pocket. Before the lights went out, there was nothing there. Then, it has something in the shape of a necklace in there. Friday night, James went to a concert of one of his favorite bands. But the concert was over an hour later because one of its members simply disappeared. When she finally appeared, the crowd shouted she didn't look like herself. James figured out she, in fact, wasn't herself, but the band was trying to cover it. Take a look at the evidence. How did James figure it out? The first picture shows the original band. The guitar player is blonde and doesn't have a pimple on her face. That night, the guitar player was brunette, way taller, and had pimples. It's finals week at Crestwood Academy, and the tension was sky high. On the day of the biology exam, the principal decided to invite James to supervise all the classrooms. When he strolled into room 5A, he immediately spotted someone up to no good and got them suspended on the spot. Check out the classroom and see if you can figure out who is cheating. It's the student with a smartwatch. He's looking at his watch to get the answers to the exam. There was a recent break-in at Mr. O'Reilly's store. Luckily, James was around to solve the crime. He noticed one small but very important detail from the security footage that solved the mystery. Take a look at the images. Can you figure out who the thief is? Now let's see, that guy is just carrying around a baguette. The one near the fridge has normal groceries in her cart. And the last guy is holding a lettuce in his hands. But hey, take a look at the lettuce. It has such a weird shape. In fact, it has a banana inside of it. The guy was trying to sneak out with a banana and a lettuce. He's the thief, definitely. James' boss, Roberto, got arrested. There was something illegal inside his bag, but he claims it wasn't his. James went to investigate the case. He checked the security cameras and saw that two people walked inside Roberto's office while he was out for lunch. One of them put something inside his bag. Can you guess who? The first woman stopped by the window to clean it, but she didn't touch the bag, while the second bent to throw something in the trash and discreetly placed something inside his bag. She's the culprit. James got a call from a gift shop. The owner told him a robber came in dressed as the Joker. But since it was Halloween, a lot of people were walking around dressed up like that. James took a snapshot of the security footage and tracked 3 suspects. Take a look at the image. Can you guess which Joker is the real thief? The thief is the Joker on the left. Take a look at his shoes. They're much bigger than the other shoes. He must be hiding something inside of it. James finally decided to run a marathon. Right before the finish line, he did his best and outran the person who was running in second place. Somehow, he still didn't finish first. Why? This is what happened. He was fast enough to outrun the person who was going to come in second place, but not fast enough to outrun the person who finished first. Noah, James' roommate, got his motorbike stolen straight from their garage. James started to search for it and tracked 3 main suspects. Take a look at them. Which one stole Noah's motorbike? It's this guy on the right. Look closely. His motorbike is painted, but the paint is dripping, and one can spot the old green color. He must have stolen it and painted it a different color so as not to attract any attention. James is a journalist who loves solving difficult crimes. He heard on the news about a mysterious disappearance of pets all over town, so he decided to investigate for himself. He started by visiting a park where most pets have disappeared over the past week. By looking at the image, can you tell who's responsible for the disappearances? The old lady looks pretty innocent, and that young couple is too busy arguing. But the guy sitting on the bench has a dog collar hidden in his pocket, but no dog. He's the culprit. The following week, he heard rumors about a small supermarket that was selling expired products to their client. So he went to investigate it more closely. He examined the cookies, the soft drinks, and the bottles of milk. Can you figure out if the market is really committing a crime here? Take a look at the milk. The expired milk is hiding behind the regular milk. It's more yellow than the new ones. Guess they imagined people would buy it sooner or later. One of James' friends invited him to go to a festival to investigate a serious case. They were serving expensive dishes with absurdly low-quality ingredients. They tasted the food of a few stalls before they could identify which chef was sabotaging the food. Can you tell? The stalls look fine, but the last chef is suspicious. On the back of his stall, you can see the amount of flies flying over his ingredients. They are poorly conserved, out of the fridge, and probably gone sour by now. Ew. An important art gallery premiered a new show filled with expensive paintings of a new artist. Only regulars came to check it out, but by the end of the night, one of the paintings had disappeared. Can you help James check the security tapes and figure out who did it? These 3 elderly men look suspicious. One of them is wearing a hat indoors, which is weird but stylish. The second is wearing sunglasses at night. But the third one, with a stooped back, well, no one's back is that rectangular. He must have hid the painting under his coat behind his back. A horrible crime happened in James' neighborhood, and a person was severely hurt. James went over to check the crime scene. There were 3 women in the house. One was cleaning, one was investigating, and one was taking photos. Can you guess who's guilty here? Check the details. The one who was cleaning had a stained cloth with a red stain on it that looks like blood, but it's just the paint from the wall that came off a bit. While the one taking the photos has a shiny object in her bag. If you look closely, it's a sharp knife that matches the object used in the crime. One night, James decided to go out for dinner when he ran into one of his exes, Maria. He noticed she was out on a date with another guy, but was hurt because they had broken up just a few weeks ago. Take a good look at the picture. Can you help James figure out which guy Maria is on a date with? From the two guys standing on the bar's counter, Maria's date is the guy on the left. He's holding a gift in his hand, and if you look closely, the tag says, "From Pete to Maria." So he's the one. James was getting so good at solving mysteries that a game show host invited him to be on the lookout for potential saboteurs of the show. One night, 3 contestants were invited to pick up a bar of gold from a bowl filled with piranhas. James noticed that one of the contestants was cheating. Can you figure out which one? It's the guy in the middle. He switched the fish from his bowl. If you look closely, they're more golden than the other ones. That's because it's another species, not as dangerous as piranhas. Faye just came back from living abroad, and she invited James to her welcome back party. During the night, the lights went out, the music stopped, and someone screamed they were being robbed. James spent the rest of the night looking at the security footage to identify the robber. Can you help him figure out who it was? It was the girl dancing on the left corner. Take a close look at her pocket. Before the lights went out, there was nothing there. Then, it has something in the shape of a necklace in there. Friday night, James went to a concert of one of his favorite bands. But the concert was over an hour later because one of its members simply disappeared. When she finally appeared, the crowd shouted she didn't look like herself. James figured out she, in fact, wasn't herself, but the band was trying to cover it. Take a look at the evidence. How did James figure it out? The first picture shows the original band. The guitar player is blonde and doesn't have a pimple on her face. That night, the guitar player was brunette, way taller, and had pimples. It's finals week at Crestwood Academy, and the tension was sky high. On the day of the biology exam, the principal decided to invite James to supervise all the classrooms. When he strolled into room 5A, he immediately spotted someone up to no good and got them suspended on the spot. Check out the classroom and see if you can figure out who is cheating. It's the student with a smartwatch. He's looking at his watch to get the answers to the exam. There was a recent break-in at Mr. O'Reilly's store. Luckily, James was around to solve the crime. He noticed one small but very important detail from the security footage that solved the mystery. Take a look at the images. Can you figure out who the thief is? Now let's see, that guy is just carrying around a baguette. The one near the fridge has normal groceries in her cart. And the last guy is holding a lettuce in his hands. But hey, take a look at the lettuce. It has such a weird shape. In fact, it has a banana inside of it. The guy was trying to sneak out with a banana and a lettuce. He's the thief, definitely. James' boss, Roberto, got arrested. There was something illegal inside his bag, but he claims it wasn't his. James went to investigate the case. He checked the security cameras and saw that 2 people walked inside Roberto's office while he was out for lunch. One of them put something inside his bag. Can you guess who? The first woman stopped by the window to clean it, but she didn't touch the bag, while the second bent to throw something in the trash and discreetly placed something inside his bag. She's the culprit. James got a call from a gift shop. The owner told him a robber came in dressed as the Joker. But since it was Halloween, a lot of people were walking around dressed up like that. James took a snapshot of the security footage and tracked 3 suspects. Take a look at the image. Can you guess which Joker is the real thief? The thief is the Joker on the left. Take a look at his shoes. They're much bigger than the other shoes. He must be hiding something inside of it. James finally decided to run a marathon. Right before the finish line, he did his best and outran the person who was running in second place. Somehow, he still didn't finish first. Why? This is what happened. He was fast enough to outrun the person who was going to come in second place, but not fast enough to outrun the person who finished first. Noah, James' roommate, got his motorbike stolen straight from their garage. James started to search for it and tracked 3 main suspects. Take a look at them. Which one stole Noah's motorbike? It's this guy on the right. Look closely. His motorbike is painted, but the paint is dripping, and one can spot the old green color. He must have stolen it and painted it a different color so as not to attract any attention.
Mary and Sue headed outside to build a snowman in their yard. They topped off their frosty creation with a black hat. The next morning, they were shocked to find the hat missing. Determined to find the culprit, they questioned their neighbors. Mrs. Lee said she'd been busy baking cookies all evening and hadn't seen a thing. Mr. Carter claimed it was too cold to step outside. Tim, the boy next door, said he hadn't noticed anything out of the ordinary. So, who snatched the hat? It was Tim. He mentioned he hadn't seen anything unusual, but how could he know that if he hadn't looked outside? Plus, let's face it, pulling off a snowman's hat is exactly the kind of mischief a kid would get up to. On Christmas Eve, the Johnsons hung 5 stockings above the fireplace, 1 for each family member. The next morning, they found a 6th stocking filled with candy. No one fessed up to adding it. Who is the mystery stocking stuffer? It was Santa, of course. He left the extra stocking as a sweet surprise, just like he loves to do. On Christmas morning, the Smith family found all their presents under the tree unwrapped, but nothing was missing. The only clue was a trail of cookie crumbs on the floor. The suspects were the 3 kids: Emily, Tom, and Lily. Emily said she'd been decorating cookies in the kitchen. Tom claimed he'd been watching TV. And Lily said she'd been wrapping a gift in her room. Who unwrapped the presents? It was Emily. The trail of cookie crumbs matches the ones she was decorating. She must have snuck over to the tree to open the presents while munching on some cookies. At a corporate New Year's party, employees dressed up in costumes. There were 10 warehouse workers, 4 programmers, and several secretaries. The programmers dressed as squirrels, the secretaries as rabbits, and the warehouse workers split evenly, half as rabbits and half as foxes. In total, there were 4 squirrels, 10 rabbits, and 5 foxes. How many secretaries were there? There were 5 secretaries. Let's do the math. Half of the warehouse workers dressed as rabbits, making 5 warehouse worker rabbits. With 10 rabbits in total, that leaves 5 secretaries. Santa is known for skipping presents for the naughty. This year, he's got a puzzle. 3 women stand before him, and one has been very mischievous. Santa needs to figure out who it is. The first woman is dressed as a police officer, holding handcuffs. The second is in a maid costume, holding a duster, with the head of a teddy bear in her pocket. The third is in a teacher's outfit, wearing glasses and holding a pointer stick. Santa takes a closer look and spots the troublemaker. Who is it? It's the maid. Look behind her back. Those are the legs of the teddy bear sticking out. She ripped off the teddy bear's head. Definitely naughty. Luke headed to the mall to snag some new Christmas decorations without breaking the bank. He had a strict budget of $10 and not a penny more. Luckily, the mall had a promo. For every 3 baubles he bought, he'd get 1 free. Each bauble cost 90 cents. So how many baubles could Luke take home with his $10? First, let's see how many baubles he can buy. A quick bit of math helps here. $10 will get him 11 baubles, since 11 baubles cost $9.90, fitting perfectly within his budget. Now let's figure out the freebies. We divide 11 by 3, which gives us 3 with a remainder. Since you only get a free bauble for every complete set of 3, Luke gets 3 free baubles. So with $10, Luke can walk away with a grand total of 14 baubles. Not bad for a thrifty shopper. One winter morning, Mr. Jackson stepped out to his front yard and saw a mysterious figure standing there. The figure didn't move, speak, or do anything unusual. The next morning, the same thing happened. But Mr. Jackson didn't seem to mind having such a guest in his front yard. The figure stayed for several weeks, but then it disappeared. Why and what happened? It simply got warmer, and the figure melted away because it was a snowman. It so happened that while Santa was sleeping, Krampus locked him in his room with no way to get out. But that doesn't mean the kids won't get their gifts. They will, as Krampus has his own plans. Traditionally, Krampus would punish naughty kids with birch rods, but this year, he's feeling generous. Each kid will get to choose 1 out of 3 boxes, and only 1 will contain an actual gift. The other 2 will have, well, let's just say they'll be pranks. Can you guess which one of these 3 boxes has the real gift? It's the box on the left. The one might have appealing wrapping, but the flies buzzing around it make it look suspicious. As for the box on the right, see those black fingerprints? It's probably full of coal. So the box on the left looks the safest. Actually, it's not entirely true that Santa had no way out. Long story short, he managed to escape that room and Christmas was saved once again. But how did he do it? Let's rewind a bit to Santa's room. Take a closer look. Sure, the window is too small and too high up for Santa. But remember how he usually gets into houses? That's right, through the chimney. And guess what? There's a fireplace in the room. Santa could have waited for the fire to go out, but there was a bucket of water right next to it. So Santa used the chimney to escape. Chloe was getting ready for Christmas dinner. She wanted to bake some cute Christmas cookies, but she didn't have enough ingredients in her kitchen. So she wrote a grocery list and gave it to her husband. However, she made it a bit tricky. Instead of words, she drew a picture. It showed a cow in a bottle with a lot of flowers around it. Based on this picture, what was Chloe's husband supposed to buy? A bottle of milk and a lot of flour. Okay, let's play Santa. These 3 guys, Jake, Glenn, and Finn, don't believe in Santa anymore, so they didn't bother writing any letters to him. But Santa really wants to make them happy by bringing them gifts. So he sends a few of his elves to observe the guys and figure out which present would make each of them happy. Can you help them out? First up is Jake's room. Which gift would be the best for him? Jake seems to be really into music, so a shiny new guitar would be a perfect match. Next, there's Glenn's room. What is the best possible gift for him? Judging by all the posters on his wall, Glenn likes skateboarding. And if you look closely, you'll see that his skateboard is broken and tucked under his desk. So Santa can make him happy with a new skateboard. Finally, there's Finn's room. This one seems a bit harder. His room doesn't have many clues like the others did. Pay attention to the smallest details. Let's see. Plain gray walls, nothing interesting. The desk is pristine, not a trace of anything that could give us a hint. Look, there's a cat bed that's empty. No cat photos, no cat bowls. Nothing that shows there's an actual cat living there. Does that mean all Finn wants for Christmas is a cat? Maybe, but giving a pet as a gift isn't very sensible, so Santa will get him a nice plush cat instead. Okay, everyone got their gifts, but what about Santa? You need to show your gratitude for the gifts. While it might be hard to pick the perfect gift for him, he can't resist yummy food. Take a look in the fridge and see what you could treat Santa to. Of course, it's milk and cookies. Traditionally, it's a glass of milk and some cookies that you leave out for Santa, so make sure to stock up before the festive season. Cheers! These three guys went to jail for attempting the biggest heist of all time in New York City. They've been there for 10 years now, but it looks like one of them is going to escape tonight. Albie is reading a book pretty calmly, although it looks like he's sitting on top of something suspicious. Frank is doing his regular workout routine. By now, he's so strong he could climb a wall. And Tom is celebrating his birthday for the first time in 10 years. Which one is about to run away from prison? It's Tom. Take a look at the birthday cake again. It looks like there's a master key hidden in there. Somerville Hospital is on the lookout for a fake nurse, since a convict escaped prison and has been pretending to be a healthcare professional. Take a look at the image. Amy is about to draw some blood from her patient, while Lucy is about to give her patient a flu shot. Can you tell which one of them is the fake nurse? Why, it's Lucy! She doesn't have a syringe on her tray. How is she gonna apply the shot? Carla and Becky decided to cook a banquet dinner for their husbands. Carla cooked a nice codfish, while Becky made her husband's favorite lasagna. At the end of dinner, both of them ended up at the hospital. After the results came, it seemed that one of the husbands had actually been poisoned. Take a look at the wives again. Which one poisoned their husband? It was Carla. Take a look at the knife she used to cut the codfish. It had some green stuff glued to it. It must be the poison. You arrive at a Halloween party. The party's main attraction is entering a room with a real horror story character inside. In the first room, there's a bloodthirsty vampire. In the second room, there's a handcuffed Frankenstein monster. And in the third room, there's a very bad-looking zombie. Which room would you be safer going in? The second room. Since the guy's hands are handcuffed, he can't really hurt you. A vampire, a werewolf, and a zombie need rescuing. Take a look at the image. Which one of them do you think you can rescue safely? Let's see. It's super sunny outside, so the vampire probably wouldn't make it out. The zombie would eat your brain before you can help him out. This leaves us the werewolf. And since it's daylight, this means he's in his human form, so you can rescue him safely. Brandy and Michelle were both accused of being a vampire after they posted these pictures online. Take a look at them. Which one is a real vampire? It's Brandy, the blonde girl on the left. If you look closely, you can't see her reflection in the mirror. She must be a vampire. Jack works at the morgue. He's doing his morning rounds, checking on all the new arrivals when he feels something touch his leg. His heart starts beating really fast. How could this be possible? Take a look at the image. Can you figure out which of these bodies is still alive? It's the one on the right side. If you check it out, his hand is poking out of the bed. He must still be alive. Mrs. Collins went on a business trip and her daughter Bella stayed in the house alone. Her mother knew the girl wanted to invite some friends over, so she allowed Bella to invite a total of 3 friends. Mrs. Collins asked a neighbor to keep an eye on her daughter. Later that night, when the neighbor came over to Mrs. Collins' house, this is what she saw. Take a look at the image. Can you guess how many friends Bella invited over? Let's see. There's a total of 3 cars, 3 bicycles, and 2 scooters. One of the cars has a bumper sticker that spells Bella, so this is definitely her car. But the rest of the vehicles probably belong to Bella's friends. This means she had at least 6 friends over at her house. Jason received a note from a girl in his school asking him out, but the girl forgot to sign her name on the letter. He had no idea who she was, only that she was in his class. Take a look around. Which girl do you think sent him the letter? Well, the letter was written in a red pen. So, the girl who sent it to him was probably the one on the left, using the red inked pen. A police officer was following a robber around the city. Suddenly, the robber entered the hospital and disappeared. When the police officer entered the building, there were 3 workers. One of them must be the robber who was pretending to be a patient. Can you identify this person? It definitely can't be this pregnant woman. It's also not the old man holding on to a wheelchair. It's the last man. He's pretending to be blind, but hey, he doesn't have a walking stick. I bet it's the robber wearing shades pretending he's blind. It's a normal Sunday at the park, but uh-oh. Take a look at these 3 people. One of them isn't human. Which one is it? It's the woman operating the ice cream truck. Look at her hand. It's green, and it's not a glove. She's only pretending to be human, that's for sure. Sylvie was walking in a forest late at night. It was a Scorpio full moon, and she wanted to soak herself and her crystals in some moonlight. When she was heading back home, she heard some howling. Out of nowhere, there were 3 werewolves in front of her. She got scared, but that's when she noticed that one of them wasn't a real werewolf. Can you guess which one is a fake werewolf? It's the one on the left. If you look closely, you'll find there's a zipper on his chest. He's clearly wearing a costume. Bob was one of the best watchmakers in town. He got a call from the police station one day, asking him for help to solve a crime. 2 burglars were caught robbing shops in town. Amongst the things they stole, there were 2 watches. One of the burglars claimed that the watch they stole was a fake. So, the police contacted Bob to see if that was really true. Take a look at both watches. Can you help Bob figure out which one is fake and which one is real? The watch on the left is a fake. If you look closely, you'll see that the minute arm is too long, so it can't pass around the entire clock when it moves. Mary was walking in an enchanted forest when she met Randy, a magical unicorn. Mary asked the unicorn for some information, but he refused to talk to her unless she solved one of his riddles. He was a trickster and liked confusing people with his riddles. He told Mary that in a nearby field there were tigers and sheep. Usually one tiger could catch 3 sheep in 3 minutes. So, he asked her how long it would take 100 tigers to catch 100 sheep. Can you help Mary figure out the answer? It would still take 3 minutes because each tiger is still catching 1 sheep in 3 minutes. It doesn't matter if it's 3 tigers or 100. Beth's best friend from school showed her a picture and asked her to figure out who in the picture wasn't human. She'd get a week's supply of free candy if she could do it. Can you help Beth figure out the answer? It's the boy in the middle. He doesn't have a shadow, which means he's definitely not human.
Martin was a widowed man who lived alone. One day, someone knocked on his door. When Martin went to check who had come to visit him, he was shocked to find his wife standing at the door. How is it possible? Well, I hope you've been attentive enough to notice a photo of Martin and his wife on the wall next to the door. The woman in the photo has a mole under her eye, but the woman who turned up in Martin's apartment has absolutely clear skin on her face. It must be Martin's late wife's twin sister. Foggy is a friendly ghost living in an abandoned house who loves floating around and scaring adventure seekers. But Foggy has 1 month of the year that he dislikes with every fiber of his being because during it, he gets to walk around way less than during the other months. What is this month? It's February. This month usually only has 28 days and nights, 29 max, to have fun. Look at these people stuck on the roller coaster. They're all in a dire situation, but one of them is going to fall first. So, for whom can this ride end in tragedy? The guy with blonde hair is likely to be the first to fall. While the others are holding on to some parts of the roller coaster, he isn't. The only thing that is still keeping him in the air is his pants, and they're bound to tear soon. I hope the rescuers will come in time. Spoiler, yeah, they do. It was a hot day, and Mark decided to make a bet with his friends. They were outside drinking water and lemonade, and Mark told his friends that water produced by different companies tasted different. He offered to blindfold him. He'd take a sip from 2 bottles of water, the one they had on the table and one from a different producer that he had seen in the kitchen. He promised he'd be able to tell the difference, and he did. But how? It was an extremely hot day, remember? That's why the water that had been outside for several hours was much warmer than the water brought from the kitchen. Now look at these athletes. The one on the left looks skinny and weak, while the other one is all muscles. The result may seem predictable, but still, who's going to win? The guy on the left will win, since he's cheating. Have you noticed that he's touching the table with his other hand? Mike was driving along a dangerous mountain road when he saw a man sitting on the side of the road. It turned out that the man hadn't managed to control his car and it had fallen off the road. The man got thrown out of the window, and now his very expensive car was beyond repair. The man asked Mike if he could be his witness when he prepared the documents for his insurance company. At first, Mike agreed, but when the man took the key out of his pocket and unlocked the damaged vehicle, Mike exclaimed that he wouldn't take part in that fraud. How did he figure out the man was lying? Well, if the man had been thrown out of the car, the key would still be in the ignition. Monica's husband Fred was a marathon runner. Before a challenging race, he promised Monica he'd bring her a bouquet they gave to the winner. A few hours later, he came back holding beautiful flowers. But Monica understood right away that Fred wasn't the winner. How did she figure it out? She recognized the flowers. They're actually from her own garden. There had been way more flowers before Fred left for the race. Look at this picture closely. There's something super terrifying about it. Can you figure out what it is? Have you spotted a ghost? It's right there in the top right corner, hidden in a balloon. Ew, creepy. Mr. Wilson's company is having a lot of financial problems, and to make matters worse, someone stole his safe with all the money he had. Mr. Wilson insisted that there had been several thieves, and the police, who came to investigate, asked the men why he was sure it was they. Mr. Wilson explained that his safe was too heavy for one person to carry. The police instantly realized Mr. Wilson was lying about the whole crime. How? If the safe had indeed been so heavy, it would have left some dents in the carpet. But look, there's nothing. Look at these two girls attentively. One of them is rich, and the other is just pretending. Can you figure out which girl fakes until she makes it? It's the lady on the right. Her phone looks old, and her designer bag is fake. How about these women? Who is fake rich? The lady on the left isn't likely to be rich. It seems like she's working now. Look at the poster behind her back. She's at the dentist's. She might be a model for a local commercial. Mr. Oliver Black urgently needed his assistant, but the guy was on vacation in the countryside. So, on Wednesday, Mr. Black sent him a letter asking the man to return as soon as he could. A few days passed, and still no assistant in sight. Mr. Black decided to go and check on the guy himself. When he arrived, he saw the assistant packing his stuff. He told his boss that he had received his letter just the day before and was going to leave in a half an hour. Oliver told the guy he was fired since he couldn't trust a person who lied to him. Why did Mr. Black say so? The calendar on the assistant's table shows that it's Monday, November the 4th, but there's no mail deliveries on Sundays, which means the guy was lying. Look at this picture carefully and try not to get scared. Your task is to count the monsters that are hiding there. How many can you find? There's 3 altogether. There's one behind the door, one behind the bed, and one more hiding beneath the bed. Scott, an infamous burglar, came home one evening. Just a day before, he had stolen some very expensive paintings from Mr. Smith's house. He was in the living room when he noticed several police officers approaching his home. Scott gave instructions to his wife and slipped out through the back door. When the officer knocked on the door, Scott's wife told him that her husband had been away for a week. She added that he was supposed to come home that day. At that moment, Scott entered the house. He hugged his wife as if they hadn't seen each other for ages. But the police officers didn't believe them. Why? Look at the dog. If its owner had been away for a week, the animal would be jumping around, happy and excited. But the animal saw Scott just a couple of minutes ago and isn't showing too much enthusiasm. Another criminal riddle for the most attentive. Look at these people and try to figure out which of them is stealing. Despite his unfriendly looks, the man on the left is just jogging. He's trying to lose some weight. The lady in red is pregnant. If she was trying to hide something under her top, she would hold it tight. It means the guy with the backpack is the thief. Not only does he look suspicious, but it also seems that his backpack can't fit all his belongings. And one more riddle about thieves. How fast can you crack it? Someone stole several expensive t-shirts from a designer clothing store. The manager told the security guard he had half an hour to find the thief. If he didn't make it in time, he'd be fired. The guard rushed to watch the CCTV footage. Luckily, he managed to figure out who the thief was before his time ran out. And do you know who it is? It's the man in the dark blue sweater. His belly miraculously became larger after he spent some time in the store. He must be hiding the t-shirts under his sweater. Well, how did you do? Tell me about it in the comments. Lucas and Hudson are walking. Which one of them isn't very smart? It's Hudson. He's staring at the screen of his phone and can miss that cliff and fall over. Even though Lucas is blind, he still has his stick. With its help, he'll know about the edge of the cliff as soon as he reaches it. He's safe. Opal is spending a vacation climbing the mountains. Karis is climbing Everest. Can you tell which one of them isn't smart? It's Opal. Look, she's forgotten about the safety rope and is climbing without it. Not good. Gabriel and Archer are bloggers who take selfies in dangerous places. This time, Gabriel is taking a selfie while surfing a huge wave, and Archer has chosen to take one while standing on the edge of the bridge above the lake. Who is not being careful? It's Gabriel. They're both doing very risky things, but at least Archer has some people around who can help him if something happens. Gabriel is alone in the ocean. It's a very early morning after a party. Egan and Bradley are driving their children to college. Can you tell who's not smart? Egan. His son isn't even in the car. Delilah and Ellery are on vacation. Both of them decided to learn something new. Delilah is skiing in the forest, and Ellery is practicing skating on the lake. Who's in danger? It's Ellery. Look, the ice on the lake is cracking, and there's no one around to help her. She should get out of there as fast as possible. Ariana and Eliza are getting ready for a barbecue party they're hosting. Ariana is making salads outside, and Eliza is decorating the house and the garden. Who's not being smart? It's Ariana. While she's busy with the salads, the meat is going bad in the sun. Karis, a mother of 4, returned home and saw that all the teenagers were quietly doing their own stuff. The oldest one, Amanda, was playing Uno, Gabriella was reading, Haven was painting. What was Ainsley doing? Ainsley was playing Uno with Amanda. Take a look at these guys and tell who is behaving stupidly. All the guys on the left, they will all fall in the end. The only guy who will stay on the tree is the one on the right. Detective Callum was spending his holiday in Hawaii. He was having his evening coffee on the terrace when he heard some noise and a scream. The balcony door of the room next to his was open, so he walked in and asked what had happened. A young actress, Chanel, was staying there. She said some man dressed in black and wearing a mask broke into her room and tried to take her away. She screamed, and the criminal ran away, disappearing in the hallway. The actress asked Detective Callum to find the man immediately. But the detective said Chanel could try to fool someone else, and he'd rather return to his coffee. Why didn't he believe the girl? Look at the door of the actress's room. Lots of boxes are blocking it. If the man had indeed run out of the door, he'd have pushed all the stuff out of his way. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to open it. The girl just tried to make up some drama to get media attention. Adam came to his PE class and told the teacher that, unfortunately, he couldn't work out. He broke his arm the other day. But Adam had a bad reputation. The teacher didn't believe him and told the guy to stop fooling around. Do you believe Adam? Look, he has a cast on his arm, but it's placed over his jacket. It must be fake. Mrs. Miller reported that someone in the neighborhood had run up to her and stolen her bag. The authorities interrogated all the neighbors. Bryce said he had been away. I came home less than a minute ago. Arden said she'd spent all day at home and hadn't been outside. Easton said he had taken his dog for a walk, but he didn't steal anything or see anything strange. The authorities arrested one person. Who? They arrested Bryce. He said he'd just come home, but the water in the pot on the stove is boiling. He must have been at home for a while already. Ames worked in a clock store. One day he called the police. When they arrived, Ames told them he had been working when the electricity suddenly went off. He tried to solve the problem by himself first. Then he called the police. They soon figured out what had happened, and the lights were on again. Ames immediately checked the cash desk. Apparently, while the lights were off, someone broke into the store and stole all the money. But the police didn't believe him and arrested the man. Why? In the store, there were mechanical and electric clocks, but the difference between the time they display is just 10 minutes. Mechanical clocks don't stop when the electricity is off. It means that the lights were off only for about 10 minutes. Ames must have switched the electricity off by himself and then called the police. Nelson was a writer. He was always disturbed by teenagers gathering outside his house and couldn't focus. One day, the man called the police. When they arrived, he said someone had thrown a stone at his office window. He asked the police to officially prohibit the teenagers from coming anywhere close to his house. But the detective didn't believe him. Why? Look, the glass is broken at the bottom, but this part of the window is protected by the balcony outside. Nelson must have broken the window himself to accuse the teenagers. A family was on vacation, and they had no idea what day it was. Dad said, I'm pretty sure it's either Monday or Tuesday. Mom added, all I know is that it wasn't Wednesday yesterday. Jake said, it must be Wednesday, or the weekend. Sienna was in doubt. Maybe it's Friday. Ruby said, Friday is tomorrow. Can you tell what day it is if only one statement is true? According to Dad, it's Monday or Tuesday. According to Mom, it's any day other than Thursday. So it might be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Jake is sure it's Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday. Sienna claims it's Friday, and according to Ruby, it's Thursday. The only day that is mentioned only once is Thursday. It means Ruby is right. Paige and Quinley were sisters. They were hanging out together in their room. Quinley had a crush on a guy from her school. She decided to write him a letter. Paige thought it was a bad idea, but Quinley wouldn't listen to her. Once she was almost done, Quinley went downstairs to get some tea. When she returned, the letter was gone. Paige said that a gust of wind suddenly blew in and the letter flew out of the window. But Quinley didn't believe her and asked Paige to give her the letter back. How did she figure out her sister had taken the letter? When the wind blows inside a room from the outside, nothing can possibly fly out of the window. Colton got into an accident and had memory loss. Kennedy and Isla both claimed to be his girlfriend. They took the guy to the place where they had their first date. Each of the girls hoped Colton would decide she was his real girlfriend. Have you figured out who the guy dated? Look, there are initials painted on the tree, saying C plus I. It means Colton's girlfriend is Isla. In a hotel, someone robbed a rich gentleman. The only witness was Joseph, a cleaning man working in the hotel. He was tidying a room nearby at the time of the robbery. The detective asked the man if he had seen anything. Joseph said, "When I heard the noise, I was going to enter the room, but then the door opened and hit me on the head. I couldn't see for a while." Joseph even showed the police officer a bruise on his forehead. The detective didn't believe Joseph, though, and arrested him for assisting the robber. Why? The door couldn't hit Joseph because it opens inwards, so he lied. After an accident, Karis was staying in the hospital. Only relatives were allowed to visit her. But 3 guys wanted to see the girl: her boyfriend, a classmate who was in love with her, and her brother. Each of them said he was her brother. Take a look at the guys' identity cards and try to figure out who her brother is. Her brother must be Philip. The age difference between Karis and Colton is 4 months, and between Karis and Nero, 5. Such an age gap is too small for them to be siblings. Maddox came to the police station to report his cousin Damon. The guy asked Maddox if he could stay with him for a couple of days. In the evening, Damon asked the host to bring him some fruit from the basement. When Maddox went there, Damon locked him inside. There was no electricity and no light in the basement, and Maddox didn't have a single gadget with him that could help him out. 2 days later, at 4 a.m., he heard his cousin drive away. It was only later that day that he managed to get out, thanks to a postman. Maddox found out that all his money had been stolen. But the police officers didn't believe him. Why? Maddox said he hadn't had any gadgets to check the time. It was also too dark to see anything on a regular clock. Then how could he figure out when exactly his cousin drove away? A cluster of students was divided into 3 groups. Ava, Tio, and Max were the red team. Jane, Elsa, and Ever were the blue team. Chloe, Chase, and Belle were in the 3rd group. Following the logic, what was the color of their group? Green, orange, or yellow? Students' names in the red group consist of 3 letters, just like the word red. The word blue, just like the name of the color, consists of 4 letters. The names Chloe, Chase, and Belle consist of 5 letters. So should their color. Green is the only color that fits, so their team is green. Brooke, Scarlett, Ruby, and Quinn are sisters. Quinn stands right next to Charlotte. Brooke is between Ruby and Quinn. Ruby is on the very right. Can you identify the name of each girl? Let's start with the last hint. So, Ruby is on the right. Then, since Brooke is between Ruby and Quinn, the next one is Ruby. Then there's Quinn. The remaining girl on the left must be Scarlett. It fits the first hint too, because Quinn and Scarlett stand next to each other. So, it's Scarlett, Quinn, Brooke, and Ruby. Take a look at the 4 words: corset, sector, rocket, coster. Can you tell which one of them is an extra one? It's the word rocket. All the rest are anagrams of each other. If rocket had an S instead of a K, it would be an anagram too. Philip is a young inventor who constructed a robot that can do all the household chores and called him Joey. One day, when Philip came back from university, he found that his robot was stolen. He was looking for it everywhere until he found an old and dark dungeon. He went there hoping to find his robot and wasn't mistaken. However, 5 robots looked exactly like his, and Philip had only one try to pick the right robot. If he picked the wrong one, he'd be trapped in the dungeon forever. Can you help Philip find his robot? All the robots look exactly the same, but take a closer look. One of them has a badge saying Joey, and that's the name of Philip's robot. During the Christmas holidays, Mr. Jones reported that his dog was stolen. A local detective arrived to interrogate some neighbors. Mr. Thompson said he was out all day and just returned home, so he has nothing to do with the dog. Ms. Miller said she spent all day eating and binge-watching some movies. Mr. Raymond said that he was outside the house swimming all day and hasn't heard anything about the dog and hasn't even seen it. However, the detective figured out who stole the dog. Can you? It must be Mr. Raymond. He said he was swimming outside. But take a look outside. It's winter and it's snowing. It's Christmas break. No way, man. Esme had a walk in the forest and soon realized she got lost. She was wandering around until she found a witch's house. She walked in, pet the cat, and asked the witch if she could help her out. Today, the witch was busy solving a math riddle her grandson sent her by Raven Post. He couldn't solve it and asked his grandma to help. Unfortunately, the witch couldn't solve it either, so she said that she'd let Esme go if she solves the riddle. Here's an equation. 101 minus 102 equals 1. Move just one digit and make it correct. Luckily, Esme is a smart girl. She just moved the 2 up to make it 10 squared. Now it's 101 minus 10 squared, which is 100. 101 minus 100 equals 1. So, Esme got away happily. Wyatt woke up in some dungeon. He tried to escape, but the door was locked. Moreover, a clock appeared and started ticking, saying there will be an explosion in half a minute if he doesn't crack the code. It was just one number, but the trick was that Wyatt only had one chance for a guess. Luckily, there was a hint. Can you guess what the correct digit is? The second number in each row is the number of letters needed to spell the first one. So the word 1 has 3 letters. The word 2 has 3 as well. The word 3 has 5. The word 4 has 4 letters, so the digit Wyatt needs is 4. Blake was a writer applying for a job in a fashion magazine. However, the boss was a whimsical woman. Blake did the interview well, but still, the woman didn't want to hire her because Blake was too young. The boss poured some water into a glass and asked Blake to get her some apple juice to fail her. However, there were 2 conditions. She wanted the water in the glass, but didn't want it to mix with the juice. Still, Blake figured out how to do it and got the job. How? She just put the glass in the freezer and waited till the water got frozen. Then she poured the juice on top of it. In a small neighborhood, girls started to get kidnapped. The first day, it was Anna. The next day, Hannah disappeared. Then, the third day in a row, Elle went missing too. People in the neighborhood didn't want another girl to disappear. However, there was only one police officer, and he could only stay with one of them. There were 4 girls left: Ayla, Sienna, Ava, and Alice. Can you guess who the police officer should stay with to prevent the kidnapping? There should be a pattern, and there is. The names of all the missing girls, Anna, Hannah, and Elle, are palindromic. It means they're the same when you read them forward and backward. Only Ava has a palindromic name out of the remaining girls, so she must be the next target, and the officer should stay with her. On a rainy evening, Liberty came back from school to find out that her chocolate was stolen. She called her siblings and asked who ate her chocolate, but everyone denied it. Storm said he was working out in his room and he doesn't eat sweets. Andromeda said she would never eat someone else's chocolates. Thor said that he just walked home from his friend's house and didn't touch her chocolate either. However, Liberty didn't believe one of her siblings. Who stole her chocolate? It was Thor. It's raining outside and he doesn't have an umbrella. If he was out, he'd be wet from the rain just like Liberty, but he wasn't. It means that he lied, which means he probably lied about the chocolate too. Della was having a birthday party. She invited 3 people over and got 3 presents: a pair of heels, a bag of makeup, and golden earrings. However, Della didn't like one of the presents. Can you guess which one and why? She didn't like the golden earrings just because she couldn't wear them. Her ears aren't pierced. Well, maybe she will consider piercing them. 4 sisters, Jane, Flora, Maeve, and Annika, were each born in one of the months January, February, March, and April. Here's their talk. "It's a pity no one's name starts with the same letter as their birth month," said Annika. "Who cares?" said someone who was born in January. "I wish my birth month at least started with a vowel, but I'm not even that lucky," said Maeve. Which month was each girl born in? Let's draw a table. No girl's name starts with the same letter as the month, so we cross them out. The girl born in January replied, so Annika wasn't born in January. Neither was Maeve because she replied next. So Flora was born in January. Maeve wasn't born in April because her month doesn't start with a vowel, so April's girl is Jane. It leaves only March for Annika and, therefore, February for Maeve. Elsie is working as a maid at a rich woman's house. One day, the woman reported that her diamond necklace was stolen. She claimed that it must have been Elsie who stole it because that day no one else was in the house. However, Elsie denied taking it. Who should the officer believe? He should believe Elsie. She said she didn't take it, and she's telling the truth. Look, the necklace is hidden in the woman's hair. Mr. Bright cleaned his office, locked it, and went on a vacation to Malta. He spent 2 glorious weeks there, but he immediately realized that someone had broken into his office when he returned. He was the only one who had the key, but how did he realize someone had been in the office? He cleaned the desk, but take a look at the trash can. There's some trash there now, even though it was spotless before. Virginia, a young girl, was found poisoned in her room. Detective Callum came to her house for investigation. The girl was found in the armchair with a glass of some liquid by her side. It looked like she poisoned herself, but the detective didn't believe it. He said it was someone else who poisoned her, and it probably wasn't even in the glass. Why did he think so? Take a look at Virginia's desk. The mouse is on the left side, which means she's a lefty. However, the glass stands on the right side of her. Probably someone just put it there to make it look like she did. Jason is making pizza for his family, and Savannah went outside to make some grilled vegetables. Which one of them does something wrong? Jason. He forgot to turn on the oven. Susie is listening to music and vacuum cleaning the house. Elizabeth is working in the garden. Who is doing something wrong? Susie should take her headphones out and check out what she's doing. The vacuum cleaner isn't plugged in, so she's about to do it all over again. It's finally Christmas time, and 2 girls, Nicole and Rachel, are getting ready for their vacation in Mexico. Who is doing something wrong? Rachel. Take a look, she's packing sweaters and other warm clothes. However, it's not that cold in Mexico, even during Christmas, so she should definitely reconsider her vacation wardrobe. Dennis is a talented architect. He's designed a unique skyscraper, and right now, the construction works are starting. His boss asked Dennis to show around a group of specialists from a competitor company. The only condition was that they weren't allowed to take any photos. Dennis did as he was told, but when the group was going to leave, he asked security to detain one man. The architect claimed he had been taking photos during the tour around the site. How did he understand it? The man was carrying an umbrella. He kept pointing it at different objects, asking lots of questions. But the sky is cloudless. What does he need an umbrella for? A camera must be hidden there. Nathan came to his friend Zachary, who worked in a museum. "Look what I've got, a priceless manuscript that was written more than 1,000 years ago." Zachary looked through the manuscript and realized his friend had been fooled. Does anything in this text strike you as strange? If we talk about the dates before the Common Era, they should be in reverse order. The original text would read, King Alfred V ruled the country from 1320 to 1290 BCE. Detective Aaron Jones got a call late at night. It was his neighbor. "I've heard a very loud noise coming from the house next door. I'm afraid to go there to investigate alone, but what if something has happened?" When Aaron and his neighbor arrived at the place, they saw the entrance door open. They ran inside and found the house owner, Mr. Anderson, on the floor of his bedroom, tied and moaning in pain. He said he had been in bed reading a book, and then a man in a black mask broke into his room and hit him on the head. Then he tied Mr. Anderson, took all his money and other valuables, and disappeared. Detective Jones didn't believe the man. Why? Look at his bed. There isn't even a wrinkle on the cover. It's unlikely that the thief made the bed after tying Mr. Anderson, which means the man is lying. Look at this group of people and try to figure out who the man's wife is. It's the woman in purple. Both she and the biker are wearing matching wedding rings. Joan took part in an experiment, testing her logical thinking and analytical skills. She had to crack riddles to get to the next level. Right now, the girl is locked in a small room. The door will open automatically once she figures out the riddle written on a piece of paper. Which principle is this sequence based on? 8549176320. The numbers are lined up based on the alphabetical order of the first and second letters of their name. 8, 5, 4, 9, and so on. Joan managed to get out of the room and is ready for the next task. This time, the girl needs to join all the blue points on the screen, but she's allowed to use only 3 lines. How can she do it? She's drawn a triangle. Its 3 sides include all the dots. The next level is rather scary. Joan is locked in a room that's slowly filling with water. This process will only stop when the girl figures out how this equation can be true. 29 minus 1 equals 30. Even under these stressful conditions, Joan managed to crack the puzzle. She replaced the numbers with the Roman numerals. XXIX minus I equals XXX. Then she removed the 1 I from 29 XXIX and got 30 XXX. Wow, this was a riddle with a lot of excess. And finally, Joan is given the last test. She needs to figure out which object is the odd one and doesn't belong to the group. Can you do the same? It's the first object. It's the only one that doesn't have any individual traits. The second object is uniquely round. The third doesn't have a red line around it. The fourth shape is a different color, and the fifth one is smaller than the rest. Two cars are driving through the city. They both started their journey at the same time. The green one is moving at a speed of 30 miles per hour. The yellow one is faster. Its speed is 50 miles per hour. And still, at one point, the green car comes across the yellow car. How is it possible? Well, the cars were traveling in opposite directions. Look at this teenager and two women behind his back. Who is his real teacher? The answer is in the reflection behind their backs. You can see that both women are holding pointers, but in the mirror, only one of them has it. She is the real teacher. Two men are going to fill their watering cans with water from the river. Who will bring more water? The spout of the older man's watering can is situated lower than the spout of the other man's can, and the level of water can't be higher than the spout. It means the younger man will bring more water. Evelyn wants to visit one unusual restaurant, but to get there, one must know the password. The girl hides around the corner to figure it out. She sees a man come up to the security guard. The guard says 12. The man answers 6 and is allowed to come in. Then a young woman approaches the security guard. He says 6 and she answers 3. Evelyn is sure she has figured out the pattern. She comes up to the security guard and hears him say 4. The girl says 2 and isn't allowed to enter. Why? The password is always different. It's the number of letters in the word the security guard says. Like the word 12 has 6 letters. That's why Evelyn should have answered 4. A manager of the most luxurious sea resort in the area called the police. She said someone had stolen a set of very expensive monogrammed bed linen. 3 guests left the hotel that morning: Mr. Sam Taylor, Mrs. Amanda Martin, and Mr. Michael Smith. The police detained one of the guests and indeed found the bed linen in their suitcase. How did the detectives figure out which person was the thief? As you can see, the hotel's name is Morning Star. This means the monogram on the bed linen was MS. The only person with the same initials is Mr. Michael Smith. Hannah called her friend, Detective Evelyn Marks, and asked her to come as soon as possible. While the woman was away walking with her dog, someone had gotten into her house and stolen her laptop. Hannah was sure it was her neighbor, Jeremy. Evelyn went to question the man, but he wasn't at home. She decided to wait for him in her car. Soon she saw Jeremy opening his entrance door. "I went fishing early in the morning. Don't you see that I've just come home?" But Hannah didn't believe Jeremy and took him to the police station. Why? The guy was wearing white sneakers, but it's been raining since early morning. If he was out fishing, how can his shoes look so clean? Detective Jacob Robinson was spending his vacation in the mountains. One morning, he found out someone had stolen a big sum of money from the owner of the hotel where he was staying. Jacob offered the man his help and questioned all the hotel guests. Emma said, "I felt unwell and spent all the evening in my room." Lewis explained to the detective that he had only arrived at 2 a.m. and had gone straight to bed. And Simon said, "I've got friends living here in the village. I went to visit them and returned in the morning, just an hour ago." Detective Robinson immediately realized who was guilty. Do you know it? It was Simon. Look at the snow around the hotel. It looks untouched with no footprints whatsoever. Then how did Simon get back from the village? Mrs. Williamson told her daughter Maya she wasn't allowed to see her boyfriend Luke until she prepared for her exam. After that, the woman went shopping. When she was coming back, she spotted Luke, who was walking along the street. When Mrs. Williamson returned home, she immediately realized Maya had seen her boyfriend. How did the woman figure it out? When she was leaving, there were 5 roses in the vase on the kitchen table. Now there were only 4, and when she saw Luke, he was carrying a rose. Private Detective Sean was waiting for his client in the lobby of a large hotel. The client was running very late. That's why, to entertain himself, Sean was observing the hotel guests. He noticed a man at the reception desk. He had 4 suitcases, but refused when the porter offered to help him with the baggage. The man went to his room, only to reappear 5 minutes later with the largest of his suitcases. Half an hour later, he returned without the suitcase and went to his room. Soon, he rushed to the reception shouting, "My suitcases! They're gone!" Sean introduced himself and, together with the hotel management, joined the man in his room. Something seemed off about the guy, and soon the detective realized he was a fraudster. What did the man do? Each of his suitcases was smaller than the previous one. The man packed all of them into the largest suitcase and left with it. And then he pretended someone had stolen his things. Detective Taylor was chasing a dangerous criminal. Suddenly, the man entered a hospital, but there are hundreds of rooms there. Luckily, it was raining, and the criminal left footprints on the floor. The detective followed them and got into a small room. There were 3 people there. All of them were covered in bandages from head to toe. But one of them was a fake patient. Who? It's the man in the middle. He doesn't have a medical chart next to his bed. You wake up in a dark, cold dungeon. You don't remember how you got here, and you don't know what's going on. You rub your head because it hurts. Your ears are ringing. Hey, calm down and focus. Creepy puzzles are waiting for you, and at the end of the video, you'll see how good at them you are. You see several strange symbols scratched on a brick wall. It's 4 vertical stripes, 3 stripes below, and a check mark even lower. Next, you come to a grid. A huge rusty lock is hanging on it. There's no key. Look around and try to figure out how you can get out. Have you noticed that brick that sticks out of the wall? Try pushing it. Ha! It worked! A secret door opens and you make your way outside. You go down the stairs and see a large hall. Several torches light up and you spot 4 huge mirrors. They reflect Frankenstein, a skeleton, a zombie, and a vampire. One of these creatures is a human being. Can you guess who it is? Vampires don't get reflected in the mirror, so you're looking at a human. He gives you a small bone and warns that you will need it. You get outside and realize you're in the courtyard. This is the territory of a large, sinister castle. There are no clouds in the sky, and the sun is hidden behind one of the tall towers. You can see 3 gates ahead. A werewolf is next to the first one. A second gate is guarded by a huge scorpion the size of a car. And the third gate has a scary, alive gargoyle. Something is wrong here. Find out what exactly. The sun is shining brightly, so there's no full moon. So what's a werewolf doing here? It's just a human in a costume. The werewolf opens the gate and you go through. You're back in the castle and step into a small room. There are cobwebs everywhere and a lot of garbage on the floor. You can see a jar of salt on the table and a note on the wall. It says, "A circle of salt." You decide to take the jar just in case. At this point, A slippery, viscous liquid starts dripping onto your shoulder. You look up and see a big spider descending towards you on its web. You run away and see 3 doors. You can hear screaming behind the first one. Behind the second door, you hear the sound of a chainsaw. A dog is barking behind the third one. Quickly, you've got to decide where to go. Run to the third door. Yeah, you'll meet an angry dog, but you have a bone. You throw it, and the dog immediately feels better. It nibbles on its trophy and forgets all about you. On the floor, you can see human footprints that lead to the next door. You push the handle down. It's locked. Look around the room and find the key. The dog is gnawing on the bone and the key is glinting on its collar. You pet the dog and gently remove the key from its neck. You open the door. It's dark and you can't see anything. You take a small step forward and fall into a deep hole. Fortunately, you're not hurt. On the ground, you find an old MP3 player with headphones. It still has some battery left. Great, you put it in your pocket. You can't climb up the smooth walls of the pit, but you can see that someone has thrown down 2 ropes for you to get out. One rope is white and slightly shining. The other looks quite ordinary. Choose which you should use to get out. The white rope is a spider web. The spider is still chasing you, so you choose the normal rope. You get out of the pit. The rope is tied to a marble pillar. You untie it and put it in your pocket. You slowly walk down a dark corridor and hear a growl behind you. It's a werewolf. The full moon is out. You run out of the corridor and find yourself in the street. There are 3 paths ahead of you. The first road is covered with lava. The second one is swarming with snakes. And the third road leads to a poisonous lake. Hurry up, the werewolf is coming. There's a shoe lying right on the water on the left side of the lake. This means that the lake is frozen. You're sliding on the ice and falling. The werewolf is still chasing you, but it slips too, and you have time to run to the solid ground. There's a massive tower ahead. You run inside and close the door. You find yourself in a circular hall lit by torches. Human faces appear on the walls. Their hands begin to reach out. The phantoms are slowly approaching you. They're everywhere, surrounding you. What will you do? Remember that jar of salt and the note saying, "A circle of salt"? You should spill salt around you, and the phantoms won't dare cross that line. You do, and then wait for a while, and they disappear. You climb up a spiral staircase to the top of the tower. The door slams shut behind you. There's one window and an iron torch stand mounted on the wall. In the center of the room, you notice a wide bed, surrounded by a white veil. You push the veil aside with your hand and see that 2 zombies are sleeping there. They open their eyes, get up, and slowly walk towards you. What are you going to do now? Use the rope you found before. Tie it to the torch stand and go down through the window. Great. The zombies are too stupid to pull the rope back. You're on the ground and see a car. At this moment, the werewolf breaks out of the castle. You get into the vehicle and lock the door. The werewolf hits the window with its paws. You can't find the key. It's probably in the glove compartment, but it has a 3-digit combination lock. Recall the beginning of your adventure and try to guess the code. Hurry up before the werewolf breaks the glass. In the dungeon where you woke up, there were several signs on the wall. 4 vertical stripes, 3 stripes below them, and a check mark even lower. The check mark is the Roman numeral 5. Then the code is 435. You take out the key, start the engine, and drive away. You leave the castle but realize the car's brakes don't work. There are 3 roads ahead. A brick wall is at the end of the first one. The second road leads to a burning forest. and the third road ends on a high hill with a cliff. What path will you choose? There's almost no time. You're driving too fast. Release the gas pedal and drive up the hill. The speed will soon drop. At one point, you'll be able to get out of the vehicle. You jump out of the car and it falls off the cliff. You go around the hill and get into a swamp. You make your way through the marsh and see 3 women in front of you. Which one is a mermaid? The woman in the middle has something strange on her neck. Those are gills. The second girl has webbed fingers. The girl on the left seems normal. She's a human. You pass through the swamps and find yourself on the seashore. An old motorboat is lying on the sand. You push it to the water, start the engine, and climb inside. You go far away from the island with the castle. In the distance, you see some rocks and shipwrecks. You slow down and hear beautiful singing. It's coming from several women staying on top of the rocks. They're sirens. Using their singing, they lure sailors whose ships crash against the rocks. You move straight toward them and can't resist it. The rocks are getting closer and closer. Do something, quickly! You still have your MP3 player you found in the pit. You put on the headphones, turn on the music, and go away. The engine stalls. Far ahead, you can see an outline of another island. You grab an oar and start rowing. A few hours pass, you're hungry and thirsty. There are fish swimming in the water, and you find a can of worms in the boat. But how can you catch them without a fishing rod? Use one of your shoelaces. Tie the bait to it and lower it into the water. It works! You catch a few fish, but then you notice a shark's fin. It circles you and pushes the boat. The island is really close, but you need to get away from the dangerous creature. How are you going to solve this problem? Throw the fish you've caught as far as possible. This will distract the shark and give you some time to get to the shore. Whew, done. But unfortunately, you've given your lunch away to the sea hunter. Exhausted, you get to the shore. Here, you meet a man. It says it was him who left you the MP3 player and the rope. He also wrote the code on the wall of the dungeon. Without a word, you kick him in the shins and he hobbles off. No, you don't, but I sure would. Anyway, you're glad that everything is over and just lie down on the sand. But the man tells you it's not the time to relax. Other tough tests are waiting for you. You hear bizarre sounds coming from the jungle. But that's another story, and this one is coming to an end. Time to find out your score. 0 to 4 points, don't get upset. You can do better, but it's a bad idea for you to go to magic castles. 5 to 8 points, not bad. You've proved that you're brave, but you were a little lacking in resourcefulness. You will solve other riddles better. 9 to 12 points, almost perfect. You've passed the test and proved that you can get out of any dangerous situation alive. 13 to 15 points. It's not you who should run away from the monsters. They should be wary of you. Any mystical castle can become your home. A famous rich businessman got sick. He needed a professional doctor and was ready to pay a lot of money. Many fake doctors applied, hoping to get that amount. Take a look at their resumes and tell which doctor is the real one. It says that Mr. Robert Greene was born on November 31st, but this date doesn't exist. There are just 30 days in November, so this resume must be fake. As for Dr. Matthias Johnson, there's no city mentioned in the place of birth, only the state. If I were that rich gentleman, I'd definitely pick the first candidate. Leslie lived in a house where she wasn't allowed to have any pets. But one day, she found a cute, lonely dog that didn't have an owner. She couldn't resist and took it home. A few weeks later, the house owner knocked on her door. Leslie hid the dog and opened the door. Still, the owner instantly knew that she was keeping a dog. How did he know? She forgot to hide the dog's food. A huge pack is still in her room. Tatum got messages from 3 different guys who wanted to go out with her: Zion, Toby, and Brick. She loved reading, especially detective stories, and she told that to each of the guys. Can you guess which of the guys lied to her based on their responses? Zion: Sure, I absolutely love detective stories. My grandpa knew Sherlock Holmes himself. Toby: Same. Last year I read 200 books and most were detective stories. Brick: Wow, that's awesome. My mom owns a bookstore in New York and she always brings me books, so I love reading too. Zion was lying. Sherlock Holmes is a book character, and he never existed in real life, so his grandpa couldn't possibly know him. Eloise was having a birthday party. She invited 3 people over and got 3 presents: a pair of gloves, a bag of makeup, and sunglasses. However, Eloise didn't like one of the presents. Can you guess which one and why? She didn't like the pair of gloves. Both of them are right-handed. 3 zombie girls are chasing Jake. One of them is his ex-girlfriend. Can you tell which one? Take a closer look at Jake's shoulder. He has a tattoo that says J+L. These must be the first letters of his and his girlfriend's names. If you take another closer look, you can see that Zombie Girl B has a tag attached to her leg saying Lucy. It must be her name, and it starts exactly with an L. So, Zombie B must be his ex. Esme went for a walk in the woods and got lost. She's been wandering around until she approached the witch's house. She pet her cat and asked if the witch can send her home. The witch agreed to let Esme go if the girl guessed her name. Luckily, there was a hint. The capital of Romania, the capital of Oman, the capital of Spain, and the capital of Egypt. Esme got it right. Can you guess what the witch's name is? Romania has only one capital letter, and it's R. The capital letter of Oman is O. Spain gives us S, and from Egypt we get E. So, it seems like the witch's name is Rose. Right before a restaurant was about to open, somebody stole all the money from the office. A detective arrived for interrogation. A cook said he was working hard and didn't have time to walk or gaze around, so he didn't see anything. The security guy said that he was in the bathroom and didn't steal anything. The waiter said that he saw one visitor going to the office, but somehow didn't realize that wasn't okay and didn't stop him. The waiter was arrested for stealing the money. Why? The restaurant was closed, and there couldn't have been any visitors inside. Indiana wanted to make her mom the best birthday present ever, but had 0 ideas. So she decided to break into her mom's computer to see what she had in her online shopping cart. Her mom's computer required a password, and Indiana didn't know it. Luckily, there was a hint: 914491141. Can you guess what the password is? Each letter is the number of a respective letter in the alphabet. 9th letter is I. Letter number 14 is N. Number 4 is D. 9th is I again. The first one is A. The 14th is N. And then A again. So the password is Indiana. Emma, Maeve, and David like apple juice. Anna, Layla, and Ava like orange juice. Following the same logic, what kind of juice does Atlas prefer? Emma, Maeve, and David have just one letter A in their names, so they're grouped together. Anna, Layla, and Ava have 2 A's in their names. Atlas has 2 A's in the name, so she prefers orange juice. William was on vacation in Thailand. One day, he met a beautiful girl there and approached her. He asked her on a date, and the girl agreed to go out with him if William guessed her name. Since she really liked him too, she gave him a hint. My name is 2/7 of Germany, 2/5 of Nepal, 2/9 of Singapore, and 1/5 of Spain. Can you guess what the girl's name is? Two-7 of Germany means 2 out of 7 letters in the word Germany, which are GE. 2/5 of Nepal gives us NE. 2/9 of Singapore adds up to SI, and 1/5 of Spain is S. So the girl's name is Genesis. The police have been looking for the person who robbed the city bank. They figured he'd try to leave the country, so they arrived at the airport and started questioning the people. One man, Bryce, said that he was a geography teacher going on his vacation to Germany, Poland, and Wonderland. Another suspect, Savannah, said she was a model going to Italy for a photo shoot. Max, a student, said that he was going home to Ukraine for the semester break. Can you tell who the robber is? It's Bryce. Wonderland is a fictional country. If he really were a geography teacher, he'd know that it doesn't exist. Annika woke up and found out that she wasn't in her room, but in some dungeon. She tried to open the door, but it required a password. The hint said SMTWT. Can you guess the following 2 letters? This is the sequence of the first letters of weekdays. S for Sunday, M for Monday, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It means that the final 2 are F and S, Friday and Saturday. Mrs. Lawrence had 3 teenage daughters, Serenity, Kennedy, and Autumn. They were all grounded and couldn't leave the house. However, one of the neighbors reported that they've seen one of the girls at the mall but couldn't tell which one. Mrs. Lawrence came home and asked the girls what they were doing. Serenity said that she was reading all day. Kennedy said that she was watching a movie in her room and never left the house. Autumn said that she had spent the day in the garden. Mrs. Lawrence immediately knew who lied. Can you tell? Look, Kennedy and Autumn have dirty shoes. That's okay for Autumn because she said she'd been in the garden. Kennedy said that she'd never left her room, so her shoes can't possibly be that dirty. She must have lied. Dakota got in a car accident and was suffering from memory loss. She was a popular girl at school, and everyone wanted to be friends with her. Since Dakota couldn't remember who her friends were, one of the girls decided to pretend she was her bestie. On Monday, 3 girls visited Dakota. Ava brought her some snacks and chocolates. Nova got her earrings that Dakota had wanted to buy. Arden made her a friendship bracelet and brought a movie. Can you tell which girl isn't Dakota's friend? It's Nova. She got her earrings, but Dakota's ears aren't even pierced, so she couldn't have wanted to get them. Can you tell which werewolf is real here? Werewolves only turn from a person into a wolf at night and when it's the full moon. On the left, it's a day, so the person can't turn into a werewolf. It must be a costume. On the right, it's night, but there's no full moon, so the person shouldn't look like this as well. In the middle, everything seems normal. It's night, it's full moon, and the person has turned into a werewolf. It must be the one. Can you tell who's a real mermaid here? The second one is a guy, so he definitely isn't a mermaid. The girl on the right is chilling in the sun, and she's out of the water. Mermaids wouldn't do that because they dry out in the sun. So the real mermaid must be the one on the left. Take a look at these 3 people. Can you recognize the real vampire? If you look closely at the first one, he's wearing a silver chain. Real vampires can't stand silver, so this must be fake. The girl in the middle is wearing a silver bracelet, so she doesn't fit either. But the third vampire seems to be valid, at least at first sight. A teenage girl, Skylar, got poisoned after school, and Detective Callum had to solve the case. He interrogated the classmates, and one girl said that she saw another girl, Ayla, adding something to Skylar's water bottle. However, no one else has seen it. He talked to Ayla's boyfriend, who said that she was with him after school. Another witness was a guy working at a cafe who saw Ayla and her boyfriend there and even showed pictures from the security camera. Still, Ayla was arrested for poisoning Skylar. Why? Take a look at the picture of Ayla. She has a tattoo on her left arm. However, in the security pictures, the girl who was in the cafe with Ayla's boyfriend has a tattoo on her right arm. Turned out, Ayla had a twin sister no one knew about, who covered up for her. Mr. Jones was watching TV when the doorbell rang. It was a guy who introduced himself as Lincoln. He said that he was a member of a volunteer group. They were collecting donations to save the rarest species of dodo birds. But Mr. Jones didn't believe him and called the police. Why? There are no more dodo birds. They went extinct in the 17th century. Arwen, a rich man's only son, visited his cousin Richie. They were talking about sports and drinking tea. Suddenly, Arwen stopped breathing and fell to the floor. Richie called the doctor, who said that Arwen had been poisoned. Detective Callum arrived and started the investigation. Soon, he accused Richie of poisoning his cousin. How did Richie manage to do that? Arwen was the only one who drank his tea sweet. The poison was in the sugar. Eloise was studying in the library. She went to the bathroom and left her things on the table. When the girl returned, she realized someone had stolen her cell phone. She called the police, and they questioned the other 3 students who were in the library at that time. Bernard said, "I left the library right after Eloise. I wanted to get a drink from the vending machine. I didn't touch her things." Beth said, "I was studying the whole time and didn't even see anything." Serenity said, "I was in another part of the library and didn't come close to Eloise's table." Who stole the girl's phone? It was Bernard. He said he'd left to get a drink from the vending machine. But look, there are no drinks in there, only snacks. Samantha and her daughter Avery went to the lake to spend some time together.
Yay!
They found a nice spot and sat down there. A bit later, Samantha remembered she'd left her camera in the car and went to get it. When she returned, her daughter was gone. The woman called the police, and they started to look for the girl. There were 3 people nearby, and the police officers interrogated them all. Benjamin said, "I was walking nearby and saw a girl sitting by the lake, but I didn't do anything to her." Genevieve said she hadn't even seen the girl or her mother. And Victoria said she hadn't seen them either, but she heard someone screaming. Who should the officers arrest? They should arrest Genevieve. Look, she's wearing Avery's scarf. Brian called the police early in the morning. He said that the night before, he and his girlfriend Estelle had been watching a scary movie together. Estelle was afraid to go home, so she stayed at his place. She was having a bad dream with zombies chasing after her, and she didn't wake up in the morning. The guy didn't know what had happened, but the police arrested him, claiming he was guilty. Why? The guy said his girlfriend hadn't woke up in the morning. Then how did he know what she had been dreaming about? Theodore came from New York to his hometown, Chicago, to spend a week with his father. 3 days later, the father called the police and said his son had poisoned himself. The police examined Theodore's things to check if there was anything suspicious. After that, they took the father to the police station for further interrogation. What seemed suspicious to them? The officers found a return ticket from Chicago to New York. Theodore wouldn't have bought this ticket if he hadn't been planning to return to New York. Esme was having her usual walk in the forest. And you know what? She got lost again. After wandering around for a couple of hours, she finally found the witch's house. Esme asked the witch to show her the way back home. The witch wanted to make Esme her maid, but she had a problem. She was planning a vacation and wanted to go fishing. Her fishing rod was 13 feet long, and one was only allowed to take things no longer than 12 feet on the train. The witch promised Esme that if the girl found a solution, she'd let her go. What can Esme recommend? Esme was very good at geometry. She advised the witch to put the rod in a 12 by 5 foot box. Diagonally, it fit perfectly. On a Sunday evening, Mrs. Collins was having tea at her friend's house. Her friend suddenly said that she had seen one of Mrs. Collins' daughters in the mall that day. Mrs. Collins got angry because all of the girls were grounded. She asked which daughter it was, but her friend couldn't tell. She wasn't wearing her glasses when she was at the mall. When Mrs. Collins returned home, she asked the girls what they had been doing the whole day. Abigail said she'd spent the day reading. Brianna said she had stayed at school after classes to study a bit more. Charlotte said that she had been practicing for her upcoming piano concert. Who lied? Brianna. It's Sunday. There's no school. A young girl, Tenley, was brought to the hospital after being poisoned. But the examination showed that Tenley hadn't eaten or drunk anything that day. Her sister, Kennedy, said she didn't know anything about the accident. Tenley's friend, Ruby, said, "We were at school when Tenley felt bad." Tenley's boyfriend, Archie, said, "I haven't even talked to her today." How was Tenley poisoned, and who did it? The girl hasn't eaten anything, but she has some lipstick on. That's what contains poison. And the only person who had access to Tenley's room that day was her sister, Kennedy. There was a car accident in a tunnel. The police suspected that one of the drivers, Owen, had fallen asleep behind the wheel. But Owen denied it. "I just couldn't see well because of the rainstorm," he said. The police didn't believe him and immediately arrested the man. Why? The accident happened in a tunnel. It couldn't rain there. Someone in the town was stealing cars. Every time a car disappeared, its owner would get a message from an anonymous number. In each message, there were 2 emojis that didn't make any sense. The police tracked the number, and the geolocation led to 3 houses. They questioned the owners, Mr. Walson, Mrs. Coleman, and Mr. Woolridge. Can you tell who the car thief is? The emojis seem to make sense after all. They're a wall and a father with a son. Combine them and you'll get Walson. So Mr. Walson must be the one stealing cars. Now let's play the game Who's Less Smart? It's early morning. Tom and Joseph are driving their teenage children to school. Who is not smart? Joseph. His son is not in the car. His father has probably forgotten about the poor guy. Annie and Emma are volunteering in an animal shelter. Annie is feeding the cats, and Emma is washing the dogs. Who is not smart here? Annie. She's giving dog food to the cats. Logan and Anthony are both having job interviews at 4 p.m. Logan is packing some food, and Anthony is ironing his best suit. Who's not smart? Anthony. Look at the clock. The interview is going to start in 5 minutes, and he's still at home. Logan is at home too, but there's still another hour till his interview begins. Noelle and Gabriella are cleaning the house. Noelle is listening to music while vacuum cleaning the living room, and Gabrielle is washing the windows. Who is not being smart? Noelle. The vacuum cleaner isn't plugged in. Skylar and Autumn are both going on summer vacation. Skylar is going to Spain, and Autumn is visiting her sister in Chile. Who is not smart? Autumn. She's packing shorts and swimwear, but she won't need them because it's winter in Chile. Both Josh and Amelia didn't sleep well because their neighbor's dog had been barking all night. Amelia asked Josh to take out the trash while she was making some coffee for them. Who is not smart? Josh. Instead of the trash, he's taken out the bags with old toys they've collected to donate. Janine and Teresa are making dinner for their families. Who is not smart? Well, they both have a problem. Janine is putting out a fire with water, and Teresa has a mouse in her kitchen and an ant in the dough.